Hello everyone, and my name is Rwan Oday, and today we're going to be going into the PEC portfolio for oral communication skills. We're going to be going into things that I did this semester to help improve those skills and what I learned from them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, firstly, why did I even do this? Well, it's to improve my ability to communicate, to express my emotions better, and of course, to understand meaning and how it's created through different types of oral communication because it can really vary depending on the different ways you do it. So, let's get into the actual stuff that I did. Now, first of all, we've got makeup for Hang Nadim. Now, if you didn't already know, I was one of the makeup artists in charge of doing the actors' makeup for a recent theater that was done this semester called Hang Nadim. And here's the thing, at first I was extremely nervous. I didn't really talk much, only really giggling or saying yes or no in Malay because my communication skills in Malay was honestly horrendous. And here's the thing about being a makeup artist. You have to communicate one-on-one with these people, and normally no one else is in the room or no one else is really talking to you, and you've got to get to know these people and keep them comfortable while you're essentially touching their face. And over time, I managed to gain the confidence to do that. I managed to learn about these people in such a short amount of time, keep them talking, keep them comfortable, and even ask them to turn their heads a certain way or move certain facial muscles that I needed them to for my effect makeup. And it made me learn how to maintain conversation with people while working on this really taxing job of effect makeup. And it was essentially multitasking, communication. And I learned to form meaningful friendships, going outside of my comfort zone and finding ways to continue talking to people whilst, doing their makeup. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. And these are the results, by the way, if you were wondering. Now, moving on to Hang Nadim, the actual theater performance. So, I actually got to witness an entirely different form of oral communication, which is theater acting. And here's the thing about theater acting, it's very different from movie acting or how you act in real life. It's way more exaggerated. You're trying to reach an audience that is far away. Some might not even be able to hear you because a lot of these actors didn't have microphones. And this was a very large theater room, like it was in PEC. And so they've got to use loud voices, wild intonation, and often within only a few words. And throughout this, they have really wild gestures as well, as you can see here. And it's all meant to communicate a story and have meaning to audiences who may not even speak Malay, because my Malay was terrible and I still could understand the entire story in its entirety because these actors were so good at communicating. So I think overall here I learned that there's different ways of expressing a story or communicating with, in this case, performer with an audience, and how that differs in accordance to the context, in this case, theater acting. And it made me learn a whole new way of expression, and I love that. Moving on to an MPU project that I had to do, which was essentially a vlog. Now, here's the thing with me. I have long since struggled with being filmed with things like body dysmorphia holding me back. And this project, this vlog, helped me learn to communicate to a camera and become comfortable expressing myself while being filmed. So I had to cater my language to fit a vlogging style, maintain conversational tones and still somehow inject important pieces of information. And I also learned to communicate with my teammates because behind the scenes, I was telling them to change the camera angle, take different shots, and have somehow still maintain that on-camera chemistry with them. And this was all in spite of the fact that I had insane stage fright. And this experience overall just made me get familiar, get my hands dirty, and get me some experience with this medium that opened me up to some more confidence in my communication. And I think that's a very lovely thing. Alright, now moving on to theater dance performance or joget that I've been practicing for the past couple of months. Now, this is a form of non-verbal communication that has led me to expressing emotion and energy through physical movements and body language instead of strictly verbal communications. So this is strictly like nonverbal communication, and we're trying to achieve this sort of feeling called Ayu, or as my instructor calls it, divine feminine energy. Now, it includes a lot of smiling at the camera, or looking straight ahead and not looking down, because then you start dancing downwards, or having confidence in, again, stage fright. So these simple gestures that I had changed in my dancing had helped me communicate different things like tilting my head a little bit, or tilting my body to catch the attention of the viewer and lead their gaze, such as following my hand, or bending my knees to prevent looking like a wobbly mess, and to keep the dance smooth and expressive. Essentially, I had to relearn the dance in so many different ways to ensure the expression that I wanted, the expression of Ayu, or divine feminine energy. And I think that it's a wonderful form of communication, because even without words, you can create a feeling, an emotion, an evocative sort of form of expression, basically, yeah. And it was overall a wonderful experience to be able to dance with other people, create this environment, all without having to say a single word. And that's quite fascinating. Right, so moving on to my favorite, the cream of the crop, Gig Putus Cinte. Now, this was essentially my way of observing performers and their ability to command attention and interaction with the audience. So they would do things like speak to the audience with rhetorical questions with a loud, booming voice that called out to sometimes members of the crowd, and they would interact with them one-on-one. That level of confidence and stage presence was inspiring to me, and not only that, they had incredible banter with their own band members. So it was interesting to see the shift between communication styles of loud to the audience and soft with the bandmates. And they weren't necessarily loud all the time either, but they still managed to engage through the lyrics and how they sung their music, a form of communication about their emotions, right? The entire gig is about healing from a broken heart, and all of those songs reflected that. And each performer's voice and the way they expressed that feeling through their music was a wonderful experience. It was the ability to see these people reach out to an audience in such a variety of ways, maintain that attention, and keep everyone interested. And as you can see, I even found myself singing along because of that powerful stage presence. So overall, it was a wonderful way to understand how to be an entertainer, and of course, how to express one's own emotions. Now, to wrap things up, what did we learn? Well, we learned that you really have to get nitty-gritty with these things to be able to learn how to be a good communicator, how to improve your oral communication skills. And you also learn that it's not really necessary for you to speak, for you to communicate. For example, the dance that I did, right? And overall, it's all about having confidence in your own skills. Without confidence, it's hard to maintain that presence with somebody. It's hard to express yourself when you're unsure of your own expressions, right? So I think overall, this has been a really good learning experience, and it's helped me understand the variety of ways that I could implement in my life to be a better communicator. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and learned something too, and I hope to catch you in my next portfolio. Goodbye. Thank you.